Oh, I can hear you, Babe.
Can't hear you, Dominique.
I'm completely paused if y'all can't hear me.
I hear you now.
Y'all can hear me, but I can't see anything. Okay, now we back. I couldn't see anything, but we just gonna let some people come in, so they can get this knowledge, and then we're gonna start popping it off once we get a few viewers. Man, we got Dynamite Sloan on here, so I know he gonna bring 100 viewers with him. Everybody love Doug, so he gonna bring 100 with him. Kaya is an all-star. She gonna bring 1,000 with her. And ain't nobody heard or seen from Ranon Barber in years. So
Centuries.
I know they tuning in.
Years. Where this boy been?
I know they tuning in to see this face. Right?
Yeah, man.
That's for sure. It's good to see you, man. For sure.
Yeah, man. Good to see y'all as well.
Yeah. So if y'all can see me and hear me good, we're gonna go ahead and pop it off. This is Work-Based Webinar Wednesday with Rowan Salisbury School CTE. And I'm Mr. Dominique Bates. I'm the Associate CTE Director of Work-Based Learning and Community Partnerships. I got an all-star studded cast today. It's the Dream Team. I'm telling you, it's the Dream Team. If y'all know anything about the Dream Team 1992, they was blowing everybody out.
Right.
I mean, they had the stars of the stars. And so once you start getting this knowledge and once these gems start dropping on you today, you will understand what I mean by this Dream Team. Got my guy Adrian Sloan. Give him a hello, Sloan. Got Ranon Barber.
What's going on, everybody?
We have Douglas Campbell. And of course, my intern, Micaiah McDaniel. And so, you know, before we get started, man, I want y'all to tell y'all stories because everybody on here got a special story, and I just want the people to hear it. So just give me a quick story about your journey, your career. What are you doing? How did you do it? Some quick obstacles that you had to overcome. So just talk about it for about 2-3 minutes. Whoever wants to jump in first.
Okay. Again, I'm Douglas Campbell from Salisbury, North Carolina. I graduated from Salisbury High School in 2007. I was fortunate, to go off to a small private school in Ohio, University of Rio Grande. I was a member of the men's basketball team there for 4 years. I majored in business and technical studies and was able to get my graduate degree in educational leadership there. I kind of fell into my role now. I'm working in higher education and specifically in the financial aid office. I'm currently the associate director of financial aid at Guilford College. It's really not a career you just, hey, I'm going to do that. I was fortunate enough to have an opening at my school upon graduation. I needed some working experience. And I only planned on really doing it for maybe a year or two to transition into something else. But what I found as I started working in higher education and specifically in financial aid, that, there was a need for people of color, in that field specifically to help educate, everyone, but specifically our community and, how the financial aid process works, because, it scares a lot of people when they hear about it. You got to fill this form out, you got to do that. But when you have somebody, that understands and is patient with you, and it makes that transition a lot easier than what you would initially anticipate it being. And, I've been fortunate enough to work at schools in Maryland. In North Carolina, I worked at High Point University for a while. And again, I'm currently here at Guilford College, but, I'm really here just to, to help our community. We've been doing it for about 8-9 years now. I definitely have a passion for helping college age students through this process and realizing their dreams of becoming college graduates.
Sloan, hop in.
All right, good deal. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adrian Dynamite Sloan. I am originally from Newark, New Jersey, by way of Salisbury, North Carolina. It's good to be on this platform. My brethren and my fellow little niece here. Just excited, man, to be on this deal. My background was untraditional. I always like to say that when I travel around the country, like everybody take different, paths to get to different places. For me, I was born in an entrepreneurship family, third generation. Grandfather was in business. My father was in business. Me being the youngest out of 12, like I came up in the business-minded arena. Sixth, seventh grade, I was that kid selling annihilators and, you know what I mean, lollipops, you know what I mean? That was my thing. I always had a knack to try to do stuff with people, right? I always been fascinated with money, so by the time I got to, the collegiate arena, went untraditional with that way as well. Had a scholarship, blew that, got into a situation, but I always felt like that was like a great turning point in my life because I was able to build on my entrepreneurship skills, right? And so when I went to college, right, I was making $50,000 a year in college. I was making more money in college than my professor. And so I would like to share that, when I talk to a lot of young people to understand, like, everybody doesn't have to go to college in order to be successful. You know what I mean? A lot of people take different routes, right? And so I didn't go to a 4-year school. I don't have a master's degree, right? But I've been making six figures since I was 21 years old. I'm 36 now. You know what I mean? And so I think a lot, I like my talks and my story to educate and enlighten people and inspire people to know whatever your gifts are, just work on those. You know what I mean? And that'll help make room for you, right? So by the time I got older, 24, 25, I was a district manager of a Fortune 500 company with no college degree. Again, skill set, working in that space, understanding people, communication, relationship building. By the time I was 25, 26, 27, up to 30, I had already made $1 million in the industry. You know what I mean? With no college degree. But just again, in my gift and my ability, that was my claim to fame, which is using my God-given talent to be able to make room for me. So, my story is very untraditional. It's very entrepreneurial. It's very, live, on-hand experience, which I feel like it's been the best teacher for me in my life, is actually doing it, not just reading it, but actually doing it. You know what I mean? So a lot of, I'm going to give you today is going to be on-hand experience based on take your skill set and grow. But that's all my story has been today. I am a financial advisor, business consultant. I've trained hundreds of thousands of people to a six-figure income based on my experience. And my whole goal is just to educate, to teach, and enlighten. Because you get to a point in life where it's not about how much money you make no more. It's just how many people can you help? How many people can you help get to their goals and dreams? And that's where my stage is at now. My stage is I've learned what I've learned, and my whole thing to give back to people who want to go in that direction, using whatever their skill set is. So that's kind of my background and, why I'm excited to be on this call with y'all today.
Thanks, Sloan. I like that, bro. Nice. I'm Ranon Barber, by way of Salisbury as well. Went to school with Sloan and Dominique.
Yes, sir.
So we go back a long way. Dominique and I went to college together after high school, graduated from North Rand in 2002. After the first year of college, realized it wasn't for me, had to take a different route. I joined the Air Force, 18, and I've been enjoying the 17-year career still going. So right now I'm currently deployed in Kuwait. I've been all around the world, traveled, done a lot of different things. I actually went back to UNC Charlotte to finish my degree back in 2012. Ended up getting my master's in business finance beginning of this year. So like Sloan said, I'm kind of at the point where over my years, I've kept saying to myself, man, I wish I'd have known that when I was younger. And then I got to a point where, you hear people say that. And once you get to a point where you can help people, I think it's incumbent upon people to really help people so they don't have to repeat the same things that you did when you were younger. So I think, once you gain information and gain knowledge and understanding about how finances work, it's imperative for you to give that information back so the next generation isn't saying, I wish I had that when I was younger. So I'm at this point now where I can get that knowledge and hopefully I can be a help to somebody and somebody hears this message and it helps them along the way.
Ms. McDaniel?
Want me to tell my career?
Yeah, hey, this is your career right now.
That's it.
Talk about, just you don't have to talk about your career, but who are you? Tell the people who you are and what you're doing right now.
So I'm a senior at Norfolk High School.
Yeah.
And
BGN.
Best school out there.
yeah, definitely. And I'm currently interning right now. Doing this stuff. That's about it. Well, I can say I'm working to be a physician assistant. So
yeah, good stuff. And so, what I'm hearing from you guys is education is key. I'm over here taking notes, man. Make sure you give back when you have the opportunity, and then take advantage of your opportunities when they're presented to you. And like I said, these people are on here for a very key reason. I went to school with Ranon Barber. This guy had his priorities in order all his life. The whole time I knew him, he had his priorities in order. He knew school wasn't for him, so he hopped out quickly. He made a quick decision. We got to learn to make those quick decisions. Sloan, he said it before I could even say it. Untraditional, right? But very successful. Mr. Campbell, he took advantage of his opportunity. He didn't waste no time, and he took advantage of his opportunities that were presented to him and used them as stepping stones. So, man, let's go ahead and get into it and talk about this financial literacy, right? So, what does it mean to be financially literate, and why is that so important? Talk to the team for me, guys. Y'all pop it off wherever we can. Whoever want to go first, talk about it.
Sloan, go ahead and get him, man.
All right, pushing on Sloan there. All right, so listen. All right, so Dick, I love this topic. I don't mind, right? So this topic to me is something I live by. You know what I mean? Financial literacy is all about your money. Financial literacy to me is just executing good decisions. That's it. You know what I mean? How to execute good decisions. I tell my team all the time, make good decisions. You know, when it comes to money, the issue with it is that most people don't comprehend money. They haven't been taught money. We haven't been taught money first. They don't comprehend it because finance is a language. Just like, Spanish is a language, English is a language. Finance is a language. To be able to understand the definition, the terminology of what that means is a big deal. You know what I mean? And so when you understand it and can comprehend it, then you can execute it. And once you start executing, you got to make good, sound decisions. I feel like a good principle of finance for anybody is live off 60% of your income. You know what I mean? You have to have 60% of your income that you live off of. 20% to go to like retirement savings. Sometimes a long-term savings, they got to be there. The other 20% is emergency savings. Because stuff gonna happen in life. But most people live off of 90% of their income, and that's an issue. That's a problem. Like, that's a disaster waiting to happen. You know what I mean? I used to ask people, like, at the end of the day, how much money do you save? So I can't save. I got this bill, I got that bill, I got that bill. The number one rule in money for financial literacy is pay yourself first. Mm-hmm. Don't ever put yourself last. I ask a person all the time, like, what's the biggest bill in your house? They say, my mortgage, my car note, da. No, it's not. It's you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you the biggest bill in your house. It's you. It ain't your car, it ain't your kids, it ain't your wife, your husband, it's you. Number one rule of money, of understanding, is pay yourself first. Because if you don't take care of you, ain't gonna be able to take care of you. It's crazy, y'all gonna get older one day and you're gonna try to borrow $20 and ain't nobody got it. You know what I mean? But you done had so many $20 go through your hand, if you just want to save some, right? You can save yourself, you feel me? And so I think that's one of the biggest things I would say about financial literacy is understand how to make good decisions, how to understand how to live off of almost half of your income. If you're making $20,000, if you're making, $5,000 a month, live off of $2,500 to $3,000. You're making $2,500, you gotta live off of $1,500. You know what I mean? Understand how to live off of less and pay yourself first. To me, that's the definition of financial literacy. Is can you educate yourself, execute, and make good decisions.
I love it. Great word. Anybody else want to chime in on it?
Good. That helped me. So I appreciate you, brother. Just hearing that in that capacity, but just kind of centered towards what I do as far as our higher education, I think is important. Since we have the high school audience, for them to understand, financial literacy when it comes to higher education is really important, and just really understanding the resources that you all have available to you when going through that process. If that's your pathway, because we have examples here. That doesn't have to be everybody's pathway, but if you do choose that route to go to a education, a center of higher education, understanding, what resources are available, what free money that I have to help fund this degree I'm trying to obtain. When I'm matriculating through, how am I managing money while I'm also studying if I have a job? If you have to borrow and end up taking out student loans, which you don't want to have to put yourself into, but the reality of it is some students, depending on where you want to go, you may have to do that. So understanding, how does this investment that I'm making in myself in this career track that I'm trying to obtain, is it worth it? Make sure you're paying attention to the success rates of that program that you're interested in for that school. Don't just sign up because the campus looks pretty. Everything you're doing right now is an investment in yourself, and you want to understand. After I finish, how am I going to handle the due income that I come into? Like Adrian was kind of going, when you get your money, pay yourself first. Also, with whatever debt burden I just incurred while trying to finance this. So, up front, you're really just trying to understand, what resources you have available for you, and making that decision on making sure you're going somewhere that maximizes your affordability, but also puts you in a position to maximize your future earnings. You don't want to go somewhere where the program that you're really interested in doesn't do well and doesn't place you in a position in the future to be successful. So, when in regards to, trying to make the decision, you want to understand those things for sure before you really, choose where you're going to spend the next 4 years.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
So to me, financial literacy means two things. It means breaking bad habit cycles and obtaining your freedom. So as far as breaking bad habit cycles, we know most of us grew up in households where money wasn't a conversation. It's not something that's being taught to students in high school or in college. So a lot of the information that's passed along is either non-existent or bad information. So financial literacy is about stopping that buck with you and making that change to where those bad habit cycles are alleviated and new quality habit cycles are begin, and that's foreshadowed into the future to the next generation. Also, when it comes to financial literacy, we talk about freedom. Freedom of your time. Time is the most valuable asset you have in this world.
Absolutely.
And when you're financially literate and understand money, you then free up your time to where now you're not working for money, but allowing money to work for you. And when you allow money to work for you, you free that time up to be to do what you want to do versus doing what jobs want you to do. Now you can spend more time with your family. You can give back to charities. You can do travel. You can do things that you set out to do from a young age. And you don't have to be old to make this happen. It can start at an early age, but it starts with the decisions you make now on whether, am I going to front load myself with a bunch of debt to get into college? Am I going to decide to go out and spend a bunch of money on a brand new car and I'm still paying rent? I don't own the house I live in, but I drive around in a new Benz. If I'm blowing 3 months of pays on Christmas gifts, things like that. So it's really about understanding your spending habits, understanding where you want to be at in life, what's important to you, and taking back your time, which is the most important thing you can have in this world.
Listen, man, y'all preaching about to pass the collection plate. I'm gonna put myself first. All right. Y'all boys, hey man, y'all strong. Like I said, it's the dream team, man. I love the information that you've given out so far. Talk about some resources. Like, so if we don't know this, if I'm a student, if I'm a kid in a household where we're not having those financial conversations, we're not talking about money, we're not talking about credit scores, we're not trying to be financially fit, right? Where do I turn? Who do I go to? What kind of resources can I get? What's out there? How do I find them? Y'all talk about it.
Let me say something, man. Like when we grew up in school, to get information, you had to go get an encyclopedia. Like you had to go to the library. We had dial-up internet. And that was like towards the latter part of our years, like going into high school. Kids today, man, y'all got these smartphones in the palm of your hand. I mean, you can reach out, and there's so much information in the palm of your hand that any question that you have, any question you have, it's right here in the palm of your. Like there's no excuse anymore. So, I mean, whether it's a YouTube video or some kind of forum that you can just reach out and ask questions to people who's doing the business that you're interested in, or I mean, you name it, man. I mean, the internet and books. It's traditional books. You can go online, go on Amazon, and order a book. About any topic that you find yourself interested in. And back to what Sloan was saying about paying yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Invest in your education. Invest in the knowledge that you're seeking, because that's the most important investment you can make is in yourself. So
for sure,
utilize the tools that you have in technology. Let that be a tool for you versus just being a distraction.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna jump back in behind Ranon. Right, Ranon is talking about Google. Right, go to Google. Like everything is on Google. So listen, I'm gonna give y'all, because this is the education platform, right? So I'm gonna give y'all some homework, okay? I'm gonna give you five keys, right? The recipes, kind of things you can do. Like, where do you go? This is your homework. So if you want to have like a good, successful financial portfolio in your future, these are 5 things I want you to Google, write down. And if you do this, like I'm working in a company right now with 2 guys that's 24 and 25 years old, 7-figure traders, but they started when they was 15 and 16. They were making $1 million in 15 and 16. So you can't tell me, what I'm saying, that 15, 16, 17, all you got to do is look at TikTok. Like I ain't even trying to believe that. TikTok, you know what I mean? Come on, man. Like you got a lot more we could be doing, you know what I'm saying, than trying to really rock. So at the end of the day, right? So insurance, right? I'm gonna give you 5 keys. The first one, right, is insurance. Understand insurance. Insurance is the only product in America you can get an immediate estate. You can pay a little bit of money and get a big value behind. It's called an immediate estate. Insurance is number 1, right? Number 2 is mutual funds, right? So Google mutual funds. Mutual funds give you controlled growth. A mutual fund, if we got the 5 of us on this form and all the 5 of us put in $20 in one bucket, right? We've mutually funded one bucket, right? But Ranon can be Coca-Cola, I can be Pepsi, Kayla can be Sprite, right? Dominique over here, he's NASCAR, right? And then the other dude over here, he can be, another oil company in Texas. And we all got $20, we own 20% of 5 companies in one fund. That's controlled growth. The second thing you got to understand is mutual funds, right? I've taught that for years. The third thing is annuities. Google annuities. This is a big concept of how you're going to be able to have secure growth, right? You need more annuities in your life. You can have an insurance-based product, and you can grow your money. And you can start this young. Like my daughter has had mutual funds since she was 5, now she's 15. You understand what I'm saying? I opened up a mutual fund when she was 5. Now she's 15. My goal was so much that I was always going to be a millionaire by the time she graduated. This was something I had in my mind because my mother and father didn't do anything for me, right? So I want you guys to understand, as a young person, talk to your mother, your father, your community. If no one's bringing this conversation to y'all, I want y'all to take this information and take it to your parents. You know what I'm saying? And say, listen, we need to talk about these 5 things, right? Insurance, mutual funds, right? Annuities, stocks, and forex, foreign exchange, volatile things. And the last thing is real estate. These are 5 things, guys, that you gotta have if you're gonna understand how to grow financially from a young person to an adult. You will save years of your life struggling, trying to figure things out, trying to figure out how to get your income, trying to figure out how to pay off student loans and student debt. You know what I mean? It'll take you years to do that stuff. Learn how to $10, $20. When you getting them, that money for them Jordans or your birthday, or you give them, holidays. Learn how to put that money in small places over time. And I'm telling you, by the time you graduate, by the time you get out of college, you're gonna have so much wealth. You're gonna go through college and you're gonna feel way more comfortable not having to ask your mama for $20.
Yeah.
Not eating cup noodles and ramen noodles. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna feel way better. You can take yourself out to eat. If you got your own money, right? Our goal today is to give you an education on where to go, Google. And if you go Google, you think back to the opportunity mama listen, Daddy. And we had this conversation, right? And let's figure out how to get you in that place. And if they don't want to listen to you, contact Mr. Bates and he can help me find you. Because I ain't gonna leave no kids behind who want to learn how to grow money. At the end of the day, y'all gonna get better when y'all do better. And Kelly, you already know how I'm coming. I'm gonna push you down that court until you pass out. You know what I mean? Let's go together, right? So listen, guys, these are some things that I would say. Google specific things that are gonna build your portfolio. You can put a little bit of money there over a long period of time and be okay.
Absolutely. Kaya, you got any questions?
Oh yeah. Okay. So, who do you know that's handling finances well right now?
Say that one more time.
Who do you know that's handling finances well right now, and what are they doing to be successful?
Campbell, you can go first.
For me, honestly, I would say I would have to say my father-in-law. He is at retirement age now. But just one thing I always noticed when I first started, my wife now started dating his daughter, we would have conversations. He would drop gems, the way Adrian is dropping on all of us right now, for sure. But he was one of the first people I saw that when something major broke or a big expense came up, he never really sweat. It was always a calmness about it, and it was rectified within that day to that week. He always was saying, I prepared for something like this. I figured something like this would happen. So that he was like what we initially said, is making great decisions. Really put this money away for a rainy day and put this money into something that grows and let that work for him. And I think that's somebody I've been able to look up to and see do things the right way just by following that simple blueprint that we've been saying, with the decision making and things of that sort. So that would be the person for me.
You can go ahead now.
Well, see, for me, I guess I have a lot of peers that I associate with who are doing different things. So for me, kind of a roundabout way of answering your question is, I tend to surround myself with like-minded people who are after the same goals that I'm after. You can't be an eagle and cluck with the chicken. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, a lot of my friends that I talk to, a lot of our conversations are about money matters instead of gossiping or sports. We try to sharpen each other and bounce things off each other about whether markets are heading or about things in real estate. I got brothers of mine who are buying houses in cash. So real estate is a big conversation that we have a lot. the markets. We talk about the markets a lot. I talked about the insurance, the annuities, and entrepreneurial ventures that, and also taxes. Taxes is another big part of finance that people need to be
Absolutely.
aware of, because it don't mean any much to make a bunch of money to give it all back to Uncle Sam.
Hello.
So you got to understand taxes as well. As far
Mm-hmm.
it's just as important of earning your income, if not more important.
Yes, sir.
So we like they say, it's easy to make money, but it's hard to keep it. So the biggest thing you want to do is understand, once you acquire your money, how do I keep this money and keep this vehicle moving along to where it's making me more money. So I mean, a roundabout way of answering your question, I think all the people I associate myself with are doing well with money, and I continue to try to network and meet new people who are doing new things that are innovative and I guess that's building that makes good financial sense. So
Right. I can say this, you know what I mean? I think for the younger generation, what y'all need to understand is everything that glitter ain't gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody who's driving a Mercedes don't mean they understand money. Like, everybody who got the jury on don't mean that they rich, right? And so, you need to surround yourself, like Renan was saying, right, with people that's in that space of talking and showing, right? Some of the richest people I know look broke. Like, you know what I mean? They don't look like they got millions of dollars. You know what I'm saying? But it's not in what they wear, what they drivers, and what they know, right? So I mean, who is best with their money? I can't say what they do with their money. I can say I do good with mine, but I can tell you some things that will help you do good with yours. I want to give y'all 3 books. You know what I mean? I came here to give y'all some value or some stuff that y'all could take with you after this call, past our conversation. So I hope everybody's kind of taking notes. But 3 books I kind of lean on, like, to help build me up, from a financial standpoint. Number 1 was Richest Man in Babylon. Like, Richest Man in Babylon is an amazing book. You know what I mean? Principle-driven savings, understanding of how to go with your finance, and understand how to be a good steward over your money. The second one is Millionaire Mindset. Right, you got to understand that most millionaires, right, have habits, like Renan was saying earlier, that are very consistent, not over flamboyant. I'll pay $300 for a pair of Kohans, because I can replace the sole. You know what I mean? Like, I can go back and replace it later, right? Like, it's certain things you understand, like, you're gonna pay more money for quality and get more wear and tear out of it later. So just a mindset of how you do with your money. The third book was the first book I read from cover to cover when I was 18. So when I was in the season of, like, where you guys are right now, right, the book I read was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You know what I'm saying? That's like Mobb Deep classic right there. That's like old school, like Nas, Jay-Z, you can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Illmatic, like Rich Dad Poor Dad is a all-American business classic of understanding how it is from the rich dad, you know what I'm saying, who was like good with people and so forth, and the poor dad who was, good with degrees. You know what I mean? So it's a different mindset of, like, how do you understand money? I think as a young person, the biggest thing you could do, like Mr. Barber was saying, is investing into yourself of your mindset. You know what I mean? So even though I came from a family on my father's side that had a lot of, business aspect and mindset, my mother's side, where I was in Salisbury, didn't. You know what I mean? And so it was like one of those things is like, if you living in a household where money is not spoke about or education is not at your, at your hands, read it. Like, create the mental environment. You know what I'm saying? If you don't live in it, you can read into it and then start learning how to make executed good decisions. I think that's helped me the most. And then I begin to have new friends, right? So my association started changing, because I don't want to talk about who get drafted no more, and I don't want to talk about what shoes coming out no more, right? I want to talk about conversation like Mr. Barber was saying with other friends that I can hear in their conversation. We on the same wavelength, and the iron sharpen iron. Each one can teach one now, and now we can add value to each other. What I would challenge all of y'all to do is look at how many of your friends add value to your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many of your friends add value, right? So beyond of us just going to the same school, or we in the cafeteria together, or whatever, how many add value? How many of them can stretch you to become a better person by reading and applying and stuff like that? But that to me is a real friend. Like me and Renan grew up 2 blocks from each other. You know what I mean? Like, rode the same bus to school together. And we was in middle school, high school, right? And now we on two different sides of the world, and he's still a friend to me because our mindsets are still connected in that same wavelength. Like we 25 years removed, but our minds are the same. Dominique, same thing. Love him, God, brother. Mindset. It's not just about who your friends are, because y'all live around each other, but who's really stretching your mind, right? So we gonna learn. It's gonna come from books. If it's not in your household, read it. That's how I got mine.
And real quick, it's funny. This is how great minds think alike, because when you're on the same wavelength, the same books that Sloan suggested, I was going to submit in the same books. And mind you, he and I hadn't talked in years. But he's going to tell you that whenever you are thinking the right way and you associate yourself around the right people, you attract the same things. You know? A guy named Jim Rohn once said, if somebody gives you $1 million, you better become a millionaire. That means you need to change your mindset. Like Sloan said, being a millionaire isn't about having $1 million in the bank. It's about the mindset and decisions you make with your money. And so many people, as you see a lot of times in sports or entertainment, they get a lot of money, or lottery winners get a lot of money, and they're quick to lose that money once their career is ended, or once they've acquired it for a little bit of time. And that's because they don't have the mindset. All the money does is shed a light on your bad habits. So if you don't have the right financial money habits, it don't matter how much money you have in the bank, because eventually that money will leave you, and the people who have those millionaire mindsets will attract that money that you are giving away.
Yep.
Another book real quick is the piggyback on what Sloan said. Another good book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Absolutely. Classic.
That's a classic book.
Classic.
And The Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was gonna say that's probably one of the best books that any young person can read to get an understanding of money, because it's so unorthodox, and it really changes your mindset and your perspective on the way you should view money.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So a lot of knowledge, a lot of gems that we received today. So we're gonna wrap it up right here, but I just want y'all to do one thing. Let them give the students one thing that when they're leaving here today, that they absolutely need to know. And then Kaya, I want you to tell us one thing that you're taking away from the day. So we're just gonna bring it home. If I can start first, I'm gonna just say that, man, education is key, but execution is even more important. So educate yourself on the financial aspects of life, and then anybody can know it, but if you know it and you don't execute, then it doesn't mean anything. So you got to execute, and you got to make some sacrifices to get what you want. So that's all I'm gonna leave y'all with.
And I think I'd just say, definitely believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and don't be afraid to own your path. As you can see on this webinar, so Sloan, Ranon, if your path is untraditional, own that, take it, because if you got the right work ethic and the right mind frame, success is there for you. If your track is more traditional, same thing. The success is there for you if you got the right mind frame. Surround yourself with the right people. But the main thing, believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and own whatever path to success that's there for you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Go ahead now.
All right. I got two quick things. So the biggest things I would leave with you guys is, first, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Start early, and don't worry about failing, because that's all about growth. life is about making mistakes, learning from them, and growing from them. So the sooner you start, the better off you are. An acorn and an oak tree are the same. It's just that one just had more time to grow. So the sooner you plant that seed, the better off you are. And like Sloan was saying, I mean, you don't have to be in your 20s or 30s to get this. You can do it now while you're still adolescent age, or going through middle school and high school. So it's never too early to start. And don't let fear paralyze you from taking that leap and making that step in the right direction. Mistakes are going to happen, but you learn from it, you adapt, and you overcome, and you press forward. And then you don't make the same mistake twice. Now, you put that experience in your back pocket, and you lean on that, and you ride that to success in the future. So that's what I'll leave you with. And those are, I think, great steps in the right direction.
Yes, sir.
Boy, that's powerful there, boy. I wrote that down, boy. I got to coin that one, boy. That acorn and the oak tree are the same. Come on, boy. Whew. Boy, that's fire there, boy. That's it. Man, listen, guys, the last thing I'll leave you with is stay consistent. You know what I'm saying? We live by something in sports. It was always hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. You know what I'm saying? And that's just it. We grew up with a lot of people that had a lot of talent to play ball, to do different things. And unfortunately, they didn't have the work ethic. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have the consistency to drive to play at a higher level. You know what I mean? And so I think the difference of winning and losing is not talent. It's your work ethic. You know what I mean? It's the consistency that you put behind it. Growing a strong financial portfolio is not easy, but you got to be consistent at it. You like Mr. Paul said, you're going to make errors, stuff is going to happen. Like Mr. Campbell said, you got to own your own path. It's going to go in a lot of different directions. Like most millionaires done lost millions. So you got to be willing to understand that, you're going to win and you're going to lose something. One of the biggest issues I had, I went through a phase, believe it or not, where I was afraid to make a mistake. I had developed this persona that everything's going to do, it's going to be right, it's going to be perfect, it's going to line up. But I was scared to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? But that's human nature. You know what I'm saying? We all make mistakes. So I think the faster you own that and learn that, to understand that's a part of your growth, but you stay consistent. It's something in finance called dollar cost averaging. And in dollar cost averaging, you just always going to invest consistently the same amount over a period of time. So when they ask, like, when's the best time to get in the market? Every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day. Like, you should be consistently doing the same thing. So I want to leave with that. Good times, bad times, when you understand, when you don't understand, just keep going. You know what I'm saying? And some things you just going to understand better as you go. But you got to make the commitment right now, today, that you will commit to the process and then trust the process. Just stay consistent. Everything will be fine.
Yep. Hey, that sounds like one of my friends. He had a saying, get committed to the commitment.
Yes, sir.
And so, and the same thing, it's something that I tell Kaya all the time, man, just try to get better every day. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
Yeah.
Right. So each day you got to move that needle and just try to get better. So Kaya, what you learned today?
I learned a lot overall. I really learned, basically how to manage my money and stuff like that. Because if you in a good financial state and you don't know how to manage your money, like you said, it's easy to lose money. So I was saying with the whole, 60% for yourself, 24, savings, and 24 emergencies. That's a good point, because if not, you just gonna try to stand with the world and be buying all this great stuff. Then next thing you know, you're gonna be broke. So, and about the whole, it can't be an ego, and then the people around you just, bring you down and stuff like that. I want to surround myself with, people with like minds and stuff like that. So, I'm trying to, pour my knowledge into you, and you making it like I'm trying to think that I'm better than you or something like that. I want you around me. I'm just trying to put you on, so we can all,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
you got it.
Well, fellas, I was taking up a collection, and I think Kaya gets the collection plate. So we're gonna leave with the pot of money, man, because she learned something today. And
Yeah,
that's,
That's what it's all about.
Take advantage of that opportunity. And so everybody that's out there watching, man, I just ask that y'all share this platform, share this video. It's a lot of great knowledge that was brought today. The content was phenomenal. And I ask that you just follow our Facebook page, RSS CTE, follow our Twitter page, RSS_CTE, our Instagram, Rowan CTE, and our YouTube channel, RSS CTE. Y'all check us out. And until next time, man, get better or you're going to get worse.
All right, y'all.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate the opportunity. Good to see y'all, fellas.
Sure.
All right, good to see you.
Sure.
You see me too.